I did things that I wasn't even asked to do. I was very, very proactive because I needed things that I couldn't afford. So I need to do more to get it. When I say I couldn't afford, it's not just money, it's knowledge. Because if you sit down like that, knowledge will be income. So you have to read more, do more than you are required to do. And I noticed what I did, and then the expatriates in my company saw that I was so dynamic that I can't be left alone. So I had to open my own company, have a JV with them, that's a joint venture with a foreign company, and then I became a local partner to the foreign company. So it's gradual, but it's the blessings of God and then my proactiveness. Yeah.
Wow, solid story there. So the ice water seller becomes the owner of a very, very successful oil company, and I didn't know that. So ice water to oil, Charlie, vast difference. Okay, that's it. Let's come to Dr. Graham. Doc, you are a medical doctor, and you decide to venture into entrepreneurship. Someone is asking, what are the risks associated with entrepreneurship?
So thank you very much. I think just like any venture you go to consider entering into, there is an associated risk, and entrepreneurship is it's no different. That is to say that if one day you decide to start your own venture, chances are it will go well. Chances are it may not go as you intend for it to go. I quite remember when I spoke to a friend concerning what I'm doing now. The question was, how sure are you? I said, pretty sure. He said, how confident are you? I said, I think it'll work out. How do you know? I do not know. There is no assurance. You know, you can talk about all the analysis and all the blah, blah, blah. But really, like our CEO would say, the playing it safe is, how do you say it?
The new safe is the new risk, and the new risk is playing it safe.
Absolutely. So the new risk is playing it safe, and the new safe is actually taking the risk. So, you know, the thing is this, if at any point in time we are willing to take that risk to go or to get to wherever we want to, then we should deem it credible enough, we should deem it valuable enough. And in the event where whatever thing that you're working on doesn't even work out and you have to start probably another venture or start all over again, this time you do not start again or all over again. You start with an experience. You start with knowledge that you acquire from whatever you're doing. So it's no news when we read successful entrepreneurs, you know, on their getting their breakthrough on their fourth, third or sixth venture. That is just because things just doesn't happen the way we think it should. And whether we want to attribute grace to it or not, the process is important so that you build capacity, momentum, and all that it takes to manage whatever you're seeking for on that level and be successful. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Doc. There's another question here that I would put to Doc because it really relates to who he is, having started outside and coming back to Ghana.
Okay, so Dr. Graham, this question goes to you. So this question is, are there any greener pastures only outside Ghana?
Well, objectively, no. But then when we talk, about reality, then we begin to talk about the fact that often it's easier for people to, as it is, get closer. There are places where you are naturally, you just, do better. And that's not because there is a greener pasture or there isn't any greener pasture of some sort. When you're within a jurisdiction where the systems are working, then it's only natural that if you apply yourself to it, you should get the result that you're seeking for. That notwithstanding, Ghana as well is very varied. in terms of whatever thing that you want to do. You know, I mean, of course, the systems and the structures that you will find in this country are pretty different from what you will find elsewhere. So then, to make it here, then you have to understand what does it take here. Because what it takes to, I mean, even within Ghana, what it takes to do well as a business enterprise is pretty much different from what it takes to do well in Accra. So the dynamics as to how things play out in a given area is very important, so that you can apply your methods, your capacities, your experience to it and to make it. Because, you know, I mean, if we sit here talking about greener pasture or browner or whatever, we've had people succeed, say, in the US of A, and we've had people succeed in Ghana, we've had people succeed in Kenya, even Zimbabwe, right? That is to say that wherever you are, if you could apply yourself, if you can apply yourself to whatever thing that you do, if you can, you know, it's often said that success is 1% inspiration, 99% perspiration. That is to say, if you can just keep pushing, irrespective of wherever you are, doing the right stuff, it's just only a matter of time you go down.
Incredible. Let's go back to Nanaya, and I'll come to Francis. In your business, was there ever a time you said no? That's it, I'm giving up. And what did you do?
There's a lot of instances, but I am a go-getter, so I didn't give up.
Yes.
So yes, in those instances, we want to understand what you did, so that when we also get there, we'll also know what to do. So in all of those instances, what did you do?
Okay, so for example, I had to, well, we had a contract at hand with Movic, and then we're supposed to recruit local people to do the job. But because we are all aware of how the situation is in Ghana, we don't have much of the technical people who can do those jobs. So we have to sort out forex futures. And before they can come in, you need to get visas and applications, you know, it took a while. So we were told that a company called Saudi should handle our jobs, our contract, because they had the people in place already, blah, blah, blah. So it was really difficult for us. So it was like, okay, so that contract is going to be taken from us completely. So I have to just send an email to explain. Sometimes whoever is giving you the job or whoever is helping you might be the same person who is hindering you from getting to that process. Okay, so I think they should have done their homework by telling us previously that this is what we're going to do. This is how the contract is going to be. You don't have to force us to take people who are not competent, because the kind of jobs that we're doing is a critical and crucial work offshore. If you miss a step, the whole thing comes down. So, like working on a gauge, the gauge is pumping the oil from the pipes through the holes to the FPSO. And the gauge is supposed to be monitored by an expert to know that this gauge is working properly. And you get anybody to go and stand in front of, like somebody like me or you, to tell if it's good or not, you're going to mess the whole thing. So we need technical men, experts, to come and handle it. So if you're giving me a contract or if you're giving me a job to do and you don't tell me the processes, what you're expecting and everything, I will end up losing. So I had a chance to speak with the procurement manager of Movic, and I told him, Mr. Dai, this is the issue. We were not told initially. And I don't want a situation whereby they might think we are not competent enough. We know how to do this. APA International is a 150-year-old company.
Wow.
And it's really wide. And at the end of the day, if we are supposed to do something like that, we can. We have subsidiaries. We have 58 subsidiaries all over the world. We can bring people in any time, but we need to know in time so we can get visas sorted out and everything. And he came back and said, okay, so I didn't know you people didn't have people in country already. So what's the next step? I'm like, okay, if you can give us like a week or two, we can mobilize people and take them offshore. Okay, let me get back to you. He went and then he came back. 1 week is what we can do. I'm like, okay. So we had to push every strings, everything to get the people in place. So if I didn't go to him to explain to him what we didn't know, and what they were requiring that we didn't have, he wouldn't have come to me to explain to me that, okay, this is what we needed and this is how long we can give you. So we have lots of instances where we are depressed and all that, but we need somebody or a strong person to tell, look, this is how we need to do it. Just like the COVID situation, we have lots of people who are supposed to go home. We have over 120 expatriates who are supposed to go home. The airports are not working. No flight is coming in. I had to go to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, get a dispensation letter to make sure that my people just get out of the country because they were frustrated. After 28 days offshore, you need to relax. But they stayed in the country for like 6 months. They have families, they have everything. So so all these things are things. In the morning, you just receive an email from an expatriate. I'm fed up. I need to go back home. You have to call the person and speak with the person. Look, it is not my fault. COVID is the whole world. It's not like in Ghana or in Takadi. You have to make sure like you talk to them. So things like that do happen, but it takes somebody who is very courageous and really ready to push. You don't have to just relax and say, okay, these are problems, so I'm done. No, you don't have to be, because there's a long way to it. And then at the end of you said it, at the end of the tunnel, there's a light. Definitely you walk through darkness, but you get to where the light is.
What did anybody learn from what she said? If anybody learned anything and can share with us. Yeah, I mean, what she just said. If anybody learned anything or would want to even ask a question on that. You know, what I learned from her was, you don't have to just accept anything which is thrown at you. Because if she accepted that the contract was being taken away from them, then she would have lost it, you know, eternally or something. But she said, no, let me still fight. So sometimes when we are being told no, maybe we need to go behind the no and try to see if we can turn it into a yes.
Yes.
So that's what I learned. You know, that's spirit. So let's cultivate that spirit as well. And then we can move on. Thank you so much, Anna. That's a powerful one.
But over to your country, wait to your house, wait to your canteen. You know, like Takadi Mountain is so beautiful, like it's wait to your Casabia open. And this is an open forum. And yet Sabia, yen visa, they be a so will be saved by force. A so will never be now. Because Dr. Graham Akasa, the state Akasa, Nana Akasa, it is so most for Kasabi. So this that before we move on to the next questions, Pacho, you take a question from the room, it's Pacho Biakasa. Open to your house, I'll try and interpret so that you all share your Facebook, so bring to me. Or I should bring the microphone to wherever I feel like.
But your group is a question. But Dr. Ramadan, may I not often don't mind? May I agree? Your phone may be a pretty fancy number. Not a hunter, so took us a be a count line.
What's your a chance last as well? With you, fair. If you are most of the time, or I came there, the main I came meeting my at the baby, I'm not coming there. Almost started from my ice water. If you are my school, at the baby, I'm really money. Ice water, no. We knew here, or meeting my started with the ice water. But of my idea what the money, of why meeting my father, many ice water in the account. The meeting you make, the meeting my
Okay, that's a nice question.
Okay, I think I can help answer it. If when they go to my you can go to maybe to the ash room. Now catch on my bill. One mattress, one phones now what they one. Maybe a corner, you go to maybe a what one in one. Now catch on them, put on more phones, or a papa. It's not all a day. You know, I like you try to advertise it. Okay, come to people, have an ash foam phone and a latest phone. I'm not trying to advertise for anybody, but I'm just giving an example. A coffer, that Akoma will be chrono. Wato, And whoever needs it in auto, at least one city connector now convey 1 city 20 pesos. Into 20 pesos in the end that to go. Let one major, for Chomwa holding here and from, and mobile so I offer being here. Something like that. It's not necessary for you to sell water, but something around what you can do. Even if you're in when you pay me now, I can Papa now say, offer your CVs for 2 page women. It won't be actual, I can work without pay. Just because of the effort, no man do to why. If you can go to the shop where you push as Papa, you may mean you now. Minister would buy it, I mean, into Madame War. And what they will may I say decide. Then I can start in Kakaka, day in year. On kind of the Wasa before. That is where you build your own capital, build your friends, another vendors into the Obibanas out a year. Me sure Ghana had a pedamad. So people or saloon, or you meet to know and feel or Chapanama may poach. Accountants be a maybe or accounting company put away poaching. They will definitely tell you that okay, prefer a book will be one because who also bet me be there 5 million, I will bet you there 2 million. So I gradual until you don't have to start with this soon as we can. Meeting was just an example I gave. So it's not necessarily there. You can also start with you can come and say, okay, when you go to my they're very good to my but maybe you have to make furniture with. Master will say, I'm careful, maybe when I'm finding you need to also go to my okay, that's that. That is where he can help you with more salary, more salary at least allowances be out the moment. Also, the root of Winyamoki and the root of Winyamoki. And I start saying, what process would I make him? Definitely will sell. It's a gradual process.
For Joe. American something. Yana had a young. Oh, that was so. She said, I had not the baby here. What's your one? Will he there? Our Tanaso were into all winning book. What's your as myself? Him, all winning. It's a definite person when I Russia. More when I'm going to mean. I will try. Try. I'm going to try.
My first craving to do. I mean to be a presenter, but I do a lot of things. Maybe I'll catch a million before the only thing I mean to do is supply or by a dead human being. But apart from that, give me anything I'll supply. Mommy, I'll tell them okay. I'm supply and go back. I don't want to quarry. What I do is I look for company for which my supply inquiry, you say, you have carrier or my supply now. Now, when you call me that you need a carry, all I need to do is to call a truck driver. Master, we have truck where one truck, one. I'm not saying this kind of offer their rent. I'm that person, they want my call. Maybe I'm 50 cities with the my balance with the That's what I do. So, Misha said, I didn't have a penny. But when Obima contract call, I'm afraid I will be there. Oh, Master, me young about Grandpa to reach that. Also, yes, we to that. I'm supposed to from Coke. And I had my first 50. When I got today, I was there when someone called me. In Rio, where I come from office. And I had a call. Could you? The don't number of my madam in one throw. Or whatever inquiry. And the person mentioned 2 acres of land. And which one supplier? 2 more. But I didn't say 2. I don't have the capital. But when the woman called me, I said, oh, which one supplier? Also, someone said she's giving me a discipline, so don't worry, I'll give you a this man to have before. No comparison, I'm not going to know. But what I did was that made too much run around, I mean, 10 pesos, maybe they should give me 10 pesos, I have the idea, and the person, no supplier, but she's already paid to the 1,000 into account. You know, so like she said, it doesn't always mean or mean a cash. What we need to do is to get the supply contracts. But supply number, I'll tell you what. One number for the Kenya do the diet. Within the week, no, the supply will be, but I didn't have a penny. I just got a fellow guy at the bank, oh Charlie, meaning that 1 pack 8 1,000 pay. Because I had non-calculus of 1,000 as well. No, the bank, near the way. Yeah, I'm going to see what I should put down the 100. So that's it. So sometimes it's not just about having before, you just have to make sure you get the business, and that's important. Yeah.
And sorry, structure-wise, sometimes we just see very, very well. Until mention the cute and you will not be accepted, no, or you're wrong. Structure is not to tell people you have it or not. I have something, maybe I'm in the shares containers or one numbers are not that share. It's really, really exciting. Papa in a big company or no one paid for painting. Papa did I got to now, she suit, or she shoot fine. Papa and no kitchen there, I will drink here and you know, when I don't period, so was man won't catch you. Man, no, son, open up a cloak. No, it's simple, make sure Tom Ford had $1,000 they say, I'm really sorry, I didn't mean it. Another gentleman, was wow, only Papa will not go in shoe. Wow, is that the new Nike you're wearing? Was yeah. Man could not show only Nike and what would you call in our way work or what did it we man you share a on how much whatever now some church it's worry what did was they goes to army. Papa no kitchen there, I neck dressing, but not a shorts, the t-shirt. On your dressing, putting on check who you are, but it's about what you have. So every night you ever pay, you ever lay share in my or your grandma. As I said, it is not about structure wise, there's one, this one. I'm for the people I'm for few day. But that is how I put on bomb. I'm a my strong until you can be so special in your own way. Now you should have from Bible start and sign. I'm not the only thing. I mean, I will tell you. But the Bible starter, every one year, I put on per day in there. Ever need 2 days. You don't need your change. And I put all your friend over here. I can say, well, such as what you are even imagining. Until let's do it like that. Whoever structure come,
I'm not ready. It's a question of you take another person.
Yeah, so I'm a little bit concerning what you said, and I'll share a story with you. There was this businessman, and I thought you know for a very wicked king, right? Unfortunately, he was unable to pay back the loan to this king. So the king then said, I'm interested in your daughter. You give your daughter in hand to me, like marriage, and I'm going to scrap up the debt. May you come to the refuge. You feel that it was definitely in impact, so like the king is rich, but nobody wants the daughter to marry the king because he's such a wicked man. It's, you know, the proposal the king made was, okay, I'm going to put 2 pebbles. One is black, the other is white. And your daughter is supposed to choose from the pebble. If your daughter chooses a black pebble, I will scrap up the debt and I will marry her. If she chooses the white, ain't your color, but I won't marry her. So obviously you want that lady to pick the white stuff. Now on the day, on him all of the pebbles, he took two black pebbles, and he put it in the sack. Putting over there on him after 2 black. You know, that is to say, whichever pebble will choose, she's supposed to marry the king. So obviously she doesn't want to marry the king, and that is the situation that we will face. So literally there is no solution now. That often is what we can find ourselves in. A situation where we think there is no solution. Where if there is no big man supporting it, then we are doomed, you know. So the lady goes to pick the pebble. And on your dream. Into the baby away pebble, like we used to go around. It's only a year grown. Not sure that my feeling is safe about it. Because, oh, sorry, man, so many in that battle. It's no damn right, I could have queer black and queer white. Say, yes, a bad name, color or dim, new opposites, much as a fire water. Alright, so that is to say that if they look into the bag and they find a black pebble, then obviously the white pebble fell, right? Meanwhile, actually, black now on here fell. It's not sure bag, no, black pebble, but they touched it quite often. And the lady was free. She didn't have to marry the king, and the loan was covered, right? So obviously, that's why it's often said that when we do face situations, we should think outside the box, right? In yes, solution stage in our Oba at first glance, and she shared a story, Atuahene eyes water. That is just to give you a premise, something to stand on. Said it is indeed possible that you can actually do it without no money that you well. And as to people being nice to you or not, it isn't about you. People can be nice to whoever they want to be nice to, and they cannot be nice to whoever they choose to. It's not about you, it's about them. You understand? I mean, I've been to a place, I was speaking to someone about my car detailing service, and I was there with my brother. The man just utterly disrespected me. I was just quiet, I was listening to him. Like, in his own right, he's bragging as to what kind of man he is, but really. So I was just listening to him. And when the conversation ended, I think I shared the story with you. I gave him my card. And he saw my name. I said, oh, a doctor. Oh. Then he wants to change the conversation and be all nice. No, that's too late. I don't work for people like you. You don't need to be tall for someone to respect you. You don't need to be short for someone to respect you. If the person wants to respect you, irrespective of who you are worthy of that respect. And if they don't accord it to you, it's not you, it's them. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah. So there are always solutions to whatever problem that you're facing. And if you could just look back, I mean, you've heard one story, you've heard another here. I don't want to add a third or a fourth. But all I'm just trying to say is that if you could just open up and, identify possibilities and potentials within a given problem, chances are you're going to get it solved, and you really have to do anyone for that.
Yeah.
Good evening. The person you is giving information, answer no mobile out. Almost say, were they under some people before coming out as successful businessmen and women? The reason why I need this is me school I'm a graduate, okay, and like I said, me establishing me as a major, but me need experience, but I have the good knowledge. Can I go ahead and search for money or look for money from the friends and other families? The startup business, no. Can I just go for money from people around me and then go ahead with it? Or I should go to other company, work for them and get the experience before I can establish my own business. Thank you.
Okay. Yes, it is such a wonderful question. Who is talking of? Say, do you have to say, my dear? One thing is, every successful person, in one way or the other, will tell you that they said, to be successful, you can never take away service or serving. And let me tell you a short story. There was a lady, she thought she knows how to cook very well, so she can open a restaurant. So she discussed it with, let's say, her mentor, and the mentor was like, do you know much about it? She was like, no, but I think I can just do it. So he advised her that, why don't you find yourself an employment at a nearby restaurant, or even if not employment, try to leverage on whatever they are doing. With that, you learn from them. It wouldn't just be about the cooking or just about preparing meals, but you will get to know how the administrative system is being run, how things are being done over there. So this lady had herself at this restaurant, and within a matter of 1 month, she came back and told the man that, I think I can't do it, I just have to be a chef. You see, so sometimes there are some things that you can just go ahead, get it started, and it works. But in most cases, you try to serve people, because talking of entrepreneurship, let me use myself as an example. As a young police officer coming down to Takoradi, starting business, or even before coming down to Takoradi, those days I'm a graphic designing, and photography. When I got there was already a guy there at my workshop until something called, and I was just under him. He was my boss. I sailed through. I was able to make it. It got to a time I entered police service. I went through the training, came out as a police officer, like practicing. I added this business, and then when people were I didn't know much about us, but I had the passion. But what can we do? You try to be learning from other experienced people who are already in the system. And the business debates me about, you call maybe one of the guys who are already in it and you know them, pin it locally or maybe Accra or wherever. Oh, challenge this business will now till we ever on the same sign now. Maybe I will press or better swap and see any other. So you just be learning. So as I say, you just be learning in Accra because I can't even food stream. And the moment we better so be the machine area, it's I can just start anything now. Day in, day out, we keep on learning. Day in, day out, and there is difference between just acquiring book knowledge and coming to the real life. Because sometimes, master, you can listen to some messages there. You may think that Charlie, all what we are talking about there, just on a server platform. You start now, you are there. I tell you. My wife is here. She knows sometimes you have to go on your knees. There are sometimes issues go. It's in your apple, will live there, will BBS. But I just say, no one director, and you're not so free strong for answers, bro. You channel it through people. You check your relationship with people. The point of us all in the interactive, like the network. If you are the best among your team, you look for a new team. Because you always have to surround yourself with OQP, only quality people. People that will add up to your life. You get it? People that will add up to your life. And whatever it is, as I said earlier, if you can't start small, you can't start at all. Thank you.
Fantastic. Me James Oh, yes, I want you to put up Yes, any further question? Where we are? Okay, I'm right.
But you're not it was in three folds, two rather, back the one, thank you. The other one is, like I said, can I go for the capital within my family or maybe friends, my startup capital? No? Because your mother pastor willing to me and go for a loan depending on what you are going to use it for, anything I'm listening. So should it be from my friends or families?
And one of the avenues are always with their family business. Aside loans. Because for loans, you always have to grow your business organically from somewhere. And send out the loan you have everyone. Because most starting business with loan, they are some of us we wouldn't advise on few occasions, and maybe ultimately sail through with a startup on loans, but friends and family ready to support you. Plus, there are friends and family to support them. That is where leveraging comes in. As Madam Nanaya said, whereby you are able to approach, because all of us sometimes, I always say, when we started business, it's not like we had the cars. But the man who for sale is coming. But because you want to be for sale, those days, as man with your pictures near me, no one can sell only on partner saying, oh, if you are 10,000, okay, with the better customer back. My customer marketing here, the customer by a partner says, the 100 crown a day now. Say your password and come and get you. I know I'm a boy. Yes, some years starting on. Then to be able, you're able to level be only family and friends to support them. You leverage on other existing businesses. And it's beautiful, sir. It's not all the time until someone will put that on our resources and starting baby. There are people who are already in the market. So a wholesale people come open. even nkurɔfoɔ a wɔbɛ market wɔn nneɛma ne bi kura wɔn na wɔbɛnya mfa so but also ate ase so you can always get it done. Nana, yeah, if you want to learn something to it. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, I think the question of loans now, like engineer rightly said, often when you're starting off, it's not the best way I would to start whatever you want to do. I'll give you an example. I think last year when COVID was really spiking, there was a venture I wanted to start, and I didn't want to go in with a capital, like money that I'm getting from acting. So I decided to do something, right? I speak French. So I would just go to work crazy hours because COVID is all over. And you feel very lonely because the roads are so empty. And the moment I get home, I teach. So there were times my French lessons would be scheduled in the middle of a shift. So I would just schedule it maybe the hour that I have for break. I just talk to my students to just shift it there. Now, in 1 month running that lesson, I just generated the funds I needed to run whatever I started to run. And I didn't have to go and ask them, right? So there are a lot of ways that you can generate funds for whatever thing that you want to do. If you're comfortable with family, friends supporting you, and you know within your heart that this venture, the potential is substantial enough such that you don't end up rupturing the relationships you've built with them, then fair enough. But once there is that risk, when they coming in is against the background of the relationship they built with you over all these years. If you fail them, it becomes something else. Forget about the money, but sometimes you may end up losing those relationships as well. So you may just be cautious or careful, and if you think that this is something you can handle, then that's fair enough. Otherwise, if you have any skill that you can sell, you can offer a skill for a fee. That is also available to generate capital for whatever thing that you want to do. So that was just something I wanted to share.
Okay, lastly, I would add that with an example that he gave for Lakina or company employee you can also, if that is what you're going to do, you can also go to the restaurant, ask what they usually buy, go get it for them at with a margin, because they will have to go, but you are bringing it. So it will cut down their cost or timing of them going all the way. With that, you get to know what they really need, what they really buy. People sometimes, let's say, restaurants will use olive oil. No, they used to use butter. So you see a huge difference between oil and the butter. And because you're buying for them, butter will be there. Then you get the experience, and then it starts with now you know already. Until gradually you can start with something that you can get the money from. Because family and friends usually on here all the time was their business. The fact that ordinary scam, the poor, over you are free. And over you are free. I cut in this case, and we go in the shop, chorich in this scam. I'm here with that. You know how people are. It's either now that you would want to be supervised, use that to get your money. Fine, it might be that one more crash, but not yet a huge area over to put it and ask them. Because family and friends, you end up, as he said, you rapture the whole.
They come with expectations.
Exactly.
Because they are coming with a huge expectation. Because you've given them the assurance that this business is going to fetch, and anybody who is coming to invest into your business is not just a Father Christmas. All but on himself, what can a human person be there is great income becoming in. And I tell you, starting up a business or a company, it's not just a one-day thing. There is different. I always say this: there is difference between a businessman and an entrepreneur. Businessmen, they just see opportunities somewhere and they just invest to get their money within the shortest possible time. But an entrepreneur, you build up something, sometimes mostly even from the scratch. At the time that people least even expect that thing to come out. And people will even make fun of you as an entrepreneur when you start something, because most people will not see the future of it. So they will even be laughing at you. People will be like, that's what you wait for, or let you wait for, I do my way, yes, we didn't fathom. But then you people want to say, oh, it's here. That is where people say, hey, why are you? So I say, yes, that's how it works. Thank you.
Good evening.
Good evening, sir.
Okay, I'm Bernard. My question is, from the statement you made, said, if you can't start small, you can't start at all. So how small should I start? That's the question. How small should I start? My second question is, there is always this saying that we can start with nothing. I personally don't believe in that, but since you people are here, what is that nothing about? What is, if maybe you will say it's not money, I want something, maybe something that will qualify for that nothing. And not only book knowledge, because you said book knowledge alone cannot get you where you are. Thank you.
Okay, I would want to start with that nothing thing you're talking about. So, you want to start a business, or you want to do something, you want to get money, but you don't have anything. You can go to, I would put maybe you will put on roasted plantain and you will, I put it, I put on station, in his Canada, or Medam. You started with nothing.
Yes.
You started with nothing. So that is how it's supposed to be. You have to make the effort of getting it done. Like he made an example of how he's going to buy the stones or a quarry, yeah, with nothing. But he got something else. Sometimes only I have to tell you. I go back on order maybe you're planning 10. Actually, you said maybe because there will be one. Since you're working like also 10 or the more, I told one maybe. Or maybe way next time. However, you will there. I think I was 1 more 10. One of them I can make 11. Because I had wrapped my attention on whatever you're doing. And that helps you as an individual. If you do that for yourself and have phobia, and start from a small business, and you will see how it goes. And I had them to move here. Whoever is going to work with you, or by once. So you just have to start in any way that you can. I remember when I started soon, my sister and Koton Suno. Mekoti in Suo Biho, now turn, then I give the money back to the person. In Suno, Eton, such as promotion 30 or 24, you're not ever cure. Nobody will be home to we are, and Eton back from now. Or a lesser, in one in his car. It is a 20 pesos responsibility. That is 2006. Media, and when my father saw that I was really ready for school, I don't know from what did become from local school. So he saw that I was really ready because I was making the effort of doing it. So you just do it, and people are watching. Same way of moving out, I have seen that you're doing. I'm not what you're doing for no. Other than if you want this is how. Oh, what you is fine. This is how it works. So it's gradual. And you're always going to start to project, but at the end of the day, you have something or a gradual. And you're always getting because you're telling boom, but it doesn't come like that. I never had a chance of having Sika and like a at that time. Since I'm a person who put a 2 city in a 1 city in a 5 city, but then you go live. What a gradual. And that time, because you know, you're moving coins, more papers. Until let's just take the effort in making it. You can have nothing to start something. Thank you.
You can have nothing to start something. It's very beautiful and it works. I think I will say you don't believe it, but I believe from now you can just try. You know, one thing as a youth, in order to even start something, start with nothing, you need a reputation.
You know, it's something that like we are getting rid of in the society. You need to build a reputation as a youth. In building a reputation, that is where even strangers, not your family members, strangers will come your way and support your vision. You started by thinking, let's say, that plantain or ripe plantain, you can once in. What they call your point is scanner market. And all this can happen. Meanwhile, also, person is Michelle, and our person who deal with you. Who makes me here? As a grown up, because of our online, you will continue this one. Over upon the name, I'm now going to go for one of our money. In your bed, my dear. Oh, you see, you need to build a reputation. And one thing that we must all know is sometimes you may not have the money to even buy the clothing that you want to sell. I mean, as a boutique, that boutique that you want to operate. But you can just, now we are very fortunate. This generation that we are, I tell you, we have a whole, shopping mall on our phones. How many people watch your status every day? Yes. So even the people watching your status, like said they can in working stores, then the paper is 200, a trap for store. People are always searching for their eyes are going around looking for something, they're looking for information. So let's take that you want to sell clothes, you don't have money, but you've seen boutiques around, you've seen shops around, talk to them, approach them. You know, sometimes people will shut their doors on you. But come on, don't give up. The moment, let's say you are in your house and you hear someone knocking the door, and you say, I'm not going to open the door. If the person keeps on knocking, sometimes you'll be like, who is there? What do you want? You get it? And you try to respond to the person and will stop disturbing you. Yes. So sometimes you go to the first place, they will tell you that you keep on pushing. So you have other boutiques or shops around. You talk to them. Business bar, or share their comedy party, and we must all be known for something. I tell you, in this world, as we are here, if something comes in mind that now, whenever a thought of car, someone needs a car, or someone is even discussing with a friend, oh, actually, I want to buy a car. The first thing that will be like, oh, I have a friend, call Atuahene. Most cases, people will call me, and I am thinking of her 40th birthday. She came to my office, Atuahene, it will be my 40th birthday, so I need this brand, She gave me her specifications. You get it? The same way, other people will call, so we must be known for something. There is something that, and that is what gives us the breakthrough. You may not necessarily have the, but build a brand with it. So that they are, at this one, I say, so once you're in so who did in a community, some contract, people say, they will just call you. Now, bro, you just go to wherever they supply it. You get your profit on it. You get it? So you can start with nothing and you get something. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Okay, so.
I think with the first question, the first question you did ask was how small. Yes, and I think that first of all, you should be able to be accountable to yourself. That whatever effort you put in, whatever you do, is the optimum best. Okay? Because sometimes when we can be doing something and everybody thinks you are doing well, you don't submit me anymore. So you have to make sure that whatever thing I will learn, it's at the optimum best. That should be enough motivation, that should be enough inspiration for you to keep pushing. Because the question of how small, then it's like you'll be looking for something to measure against. But what I want you to understand then is that progress at any level is progress. And you will have to learn to appreciate your own progress. Your ability to do this will inspire confidence in your own self. You see, sometimes you're always looking for who believes in us. How about you believing in you? So you will have to then appreciate the effort that you are putting in. Even if no one is saying it, you know the 6 to 6 you are putting in. and you know it's taking this much time before people can even realize that this is what you're doing. Everybody thinks you're sleeping. But you know you are putting in that work. And I think Les Brown talks about the bamboo tree, right? So how many years does it take? Is it 5 years?
It takes 5 years to grow the Chinese bamboo tree. You grow it. Let's use the Chinese bamboo tree. When you grow the Chinese bamboo tree, it takes 5 years. 5 years of continual watering. And you know, there are people who will see you watering a particular spot every day. They will see you pouring water on the ground and they will be like, this guy, what's wrong with him? Every day you will see him pouring water, but nothing is coming out. How many of us can understand that? You see, the whole society, the majority of people will even say like, this man, be like, you go man. Because for 5 years, come on. But with that 5 years, let me tell you what happens. After the 5th year, it will grow 90 feet tall within 6 weeks. Yes, 90 feet tall. So tree growing 90 feet tall. Do you think it's within just that 6 weeks that it grew 90 feet tall? No. It's because of the 5 years of continual watering. And I always say this, if you go far, you will go through deep of great challenges. Because you need to have your roots deep within the ground. So that when you go down, when you reach that level, any storm wouldn't blow you off. There are some lessons that at our level now, we cannot handle it. Today I was telling someone that there are some breakthroughs that if we have to get that kind of breakthrough today, the following day or within a matter of 1 year, you die. So you need to go through the process. If you jump the step, you may fall. With any wind that comes around. Imagine having let's say a 10-story building with the foundation just starting from here. Will it be able to stand any storm that comes around? But if you see any building that it will go very high, you see that the foundation will be going deep, some feet deep before they will put it up. Where it will come to the level ground and you will rise. So sometimes we should be able to handle situations. You get it? And as we keep on watering our dreams, people wouldn't see what we are after. But definitely, one day, it will start coming. And we will go down 90 feet tall.
Okay, with the same question for my brother. That's starting the business with nothing. I'm still not convinced. With the example, mother me. It was like, I started the all to new now, all the cool school. And I'm home where I start. And what do you see here? I say, we are doing this now, up to now, we are doing this now. And
my father realized that I was putting in effort because I don't think I was that initially. Military school, but it's making. Also, when you school, I don't know that was school because all should be near. So I had to start something on my own. And I said, no, who there. No, maybe in India, or a dog was school because this is what she is doing. And then he helped me to go through. Until if I stood there without doing anything, it's not all your attention there. I could have done anything. But I really now be there. I want to do it on my own. Mom started. Then we realized that no, she needs to go to school. She's putting in effort. Let me just help her. And then he helped me, and then I went through. And see that even made me very strong enough. But I'm still strong. That I am not people call me independent. I don't wait for people's effort and other things before I can go on with. I would start for the person to know that okay, well, she can do it before. This is the example I was trying to get. It's not like I sold water from, but I know before after you do that when never work. Since you don't try to. Sometimes it's different. It depends on the situation.
So I just want us to build a plan. We started with a plan. We don't start with nothing. We started with a plan. As our CEO also started.
And nothing we are talking about. She
In
was
terms
talking on
of
it.
responsibility, let's say money.
Yeah.
Most people use, one thing about entrepreneurship is most people will be like, some people will come to you and be like, oh, I have this, dream power, I want to do this, but because I don't have money, so I'm not doing it. That's what we are talking about. Because it's not the lack of money. Why people are not starting whatever that they're supposed to start, or why people are not moving towards their purpose. But mostly because of plan and even failing to identify their purpose. You get it? As you are saying that there are people who have been selling water and they've still not been able to make it up in life and they've still been on it. You know, there can be two people at a place. You see one progressing and one still at the same level. The other person may not have any bigger picture inside. If you are to ask that person, what are your goals? What's your vision? Do you even have it on paper? Because sometimes if you don't have anything ahead of you, you don't have anything in sight that you are working towards, you can just be moving around. You think you are moving, but you are still at the same position. You just be marking time. But if you know where you are going and you have a target, this is the level I want to reach, and you are able to at least, sometimes people may see you doing very well, as Doc said, but within you, you know that you're not doing anything. And I always say that the greatest enemy to, what is right is good. You may be doing something that is good in the sight of people, in the sight of the majority, but within you, you know that's not the right thing that you're supposed to do. You can do better than, what is good. And the good thing has always been hindering us from reaching our purpose. So that's basically what we mean, bro.
Okay, I think I'm just saying it as a contribution to everything that is happening. Now, I'm not with them. I'm in the congregation. I don't know if the word is right, so I'm just sharing my little experience on everything that is happening. For me, I'm a filmmaker. I work with the cameras, and I completed SHS 2008. That's a long time ago. Yes. And then when I finished school, I started going to do filmmaking. And I started out like that. I'm saying this because the point I'm trying to get to is consistency. Yes. So I started working with the cameras. And I can do documentaries and do corporate videos for people. But the trick is, for the first 4 years, I work for people for free. Free service. I know that I can do this for this person. I know this is a prominent person. He can pay me like 2,000 cities, and I'll say it's free. Yes. He said, why is it free? I said, it's okay. But because if I take the pay, I close my relationship with the person. Yes. And I know a certain time will come, I will need something, the person will be able to give it to me. But because I have taken my dues away, I can go back to you and say this. Fast forward, I started running an initiative, one that is called Child President. Every Monday morning, I will let a small girl say bigger things, and then I will put it on social media. One day I was there, and I had a call from the office of the president. And somebody was telling me that every Monday morning, the president will watch your video. Wow. Yes. Wow. Every Monday morning. And it got to a time that I was also in the house. It was weekend, and I had a call. I answered the call and said, this is the former president, J.J. Rawlings. Wow. I want to see you at the office. And I was so surprised. And then, just when the call came, 3 days later, they locked down the country. And the meeting never came on till he passed away. Wow. Yes. I'm talking about consistency. Yes. And quite recently, I started doing tourism, promoting Western region and anything I can think of. So 2 weeks ago, I was at STC. I'm waiting for, unless one of my batteries in my class, they brought it. I was there waiting for the battery, and I had a call. And they said, this is the regional minister. I want to see you at my office. And then I went to the office, and the conversation, all that he's saying is, what do you want? Now he's giving me a blank check. He's looking at what I'm doing, and now he's ready to push his fund to make it bigger. After now, I haven't answered him. So what I'm trying to say is, if you maintain your composure, let me help you answer. one day, it will just happen. You just have to set up a course and be ready to die for it. Yeah. But if you jump like that, you're not going anywhere.
Let me add a little to what he said. I went to the University of Cape Coast in 2008 from a place like Aguna Charlie Aguna Now I started off as an MC in church. So now when I went to the university, I said, I can do this. But nobody knows you. Young boy from Aguna Panta, one of you will Cape Coast. So anytime I see a seminar, I'll pick the number and call. Oh, senior, I can MC your program for you for free.
Oh my God.
I was turned down a couple of times, and then my final breakthrough came. It was a dinner for a church group. So I made for school, no of a pumpkin, TV man. I grandpa, the toppers. Then this dinner guy said, "Oh, you come and MC for us. It's your toy." But I still went. The guys gave me a platform and I did my thing. And one thing about me is I have self-belief. It's not like arrogance, no. But with you, I'm not content my house, I will look at good. But I'm not ready to give up. So when I had a chance, I took it and took it well. And then they brought me home. The next time I called another seminar, did it for free, leadership empowerment consult. I MC that, and I didn't MC the show that KSM was part of the speakers. Cape Coast, free sir. Then one day I was there and Philip was calls me to say, Kojo, he was my social, my very good friend. We hadn't met in person. So I let me best and go, first thing was, Talobe Chasai. But I didn't ask him which Chasai. I said, maybe and when I was coming, I killed my personal photographer. And you see, I always say that because I'm from Aguna Panta, I went to Perubo. So in my mind, no platform will ever shut me down. I want to take it up. So when I came to MC that show, Sinatra was there, Atuahene was there. And when they got to realize I went to Perubo, so the man was shocked. He said, "What? And you can speak like this? You have to host the morning show on the sky."
Yes.
But you see, before I had been invited to meet with him to come and work with him as a reporter. I said I won't come because things weren't good. But when I came to MC that show and the man passed that comment, when I said, I'm going to the sky. So one day I was able to call me that Charlie, my boss also was sky. Then I said, tell your boss these are my terms. If you meet it, I'll come. Oh yeah. Charlie, you see, free MC, I've never do those in my terms. And the man said, oh, terms. And I did. Fast forward, MTN comes to Atuahene looking for an MC. My boss says, look, you have to get this young man. MTN calls and says, how much will you take? I'll take 2,500. I said, no problem, we'll pay you.
Oh, just 2,500.
Oh no, you see, zero. I was running after MC for zero. Now they say 2,000, but that's in 2000. I think I came in 2000. Good morning, they won't move it up. 2,500 on the spot. They say, it was just an hour show.
Yes.
That's somebody's salary.
Yeah. And then after this, another malaria program comes in and someone says, get this boy. Now when I got there, they said, over to me. Before, back in Cape Coast, they were coming to do lectures conference. And a colleague of mine who was doing the sales one lecturer said, oh, I know this boy, he can do it for you. So when the lecturer called me, I went there. He looked at me and said, we are coming to do conference for professors, so are you sure you can do this? And I said, sir, when I'm MCing, not even the president is above me. So are you sure? I said, sir, I'll do this. So he asked me how much will I charge him. I said, sir, you give me 1,500. I said, this boy, man, no problem. So the man said, okay, then practice for me to see. But then they hear me before. Because you see, now Obia catch us every 2 years. When you say practice for me, hold out to me. So when I did that, I said, okay, then I made 20,008. Says, boy, I'll pay you. Just deliver. This is what happened. On that day, after I did the MC, the man comes to me and says, look, I'll give you 2,000.
Wow.
Are you willing to do masters? And I said, if you can help me, I'll do masters. The man says, the next time I realized that God forms called me just because of MC.
Yes.
He thought the professors would overshadow me. I said, no, boss, when I'm up there,
not even the president. So you see, sometimes, like, starting from nothing, I had nothing when I went to UCC. I was coming from Aguna Panta, nobody knew me, but I changed. And I remember me getting an opportunity at ATL FM. I went to tell the administrator there one night, small boy, like 100. I told him, boss, I've listened to your station, but I can better everybody on that network. The man looked at me and said, what are you saying? I said, give me an opportunity, I'll do it. So when it came that they were looking for student presenters, my letter was, they cancelled me because I wrote a wrong address. But this man, because I've jobbed him before, called me that could wait for you, bring a new letter. And that was the beginning of how I do myself. I did agree, but I've never done anything in agriculture. All my life, it really. I think for young people who don't like doing things for free, I can tell you, between 2005 2007, I was coming from Aguna Panta to Twin City Radio every Saturday. Ask yourself, what were the type of people doing? They were sitting here. But I was coming from Aguna Panta. Sometimes it was Olori Febra and so out. But you're in. Me and myself, my friend Justice Bailey. He's a joy from that. The better transfer there. Yeah, from Twin City, the better than Tuaya, Snake Flag, because Snake Flag could be a problem. You're about to win this camera. The best I'm not to a Prando. They are Pobi Chodo. You're about to attention. 2000 and between 2007 and 2008, I was going to Ancora FM every day, no pay. Yes. But you see, I knew that tomorrow I'll have a chance here. Yes. And I did it for free. University, tourism, I'll be on radio. My friends will call me, Kodo, we have a paper tomorrow. I say, yes, we have a paper. You want an A? I don't want an A. I only know my job. I only want to stay because my uncle had invested his letter for me to get to university. I just want to pass. Because when I finish, I know my job is there waiting for me. And when I completed school, ATLFM, University of Cape, they were not ready to let me go. Immediately, the professors were calling Kodogra. My interviewer, it was just, the vice chancellor called me and said, tomorrow go to the interview. When they ask you a question and you can't answer, don't worry, you have one to certificate. Wow. So you see, sometimes, let us volunteer. Because that's how we can start from nothing and end something. Yes. I tell you what, after here, I'm going to meet Coco Boy. They say they need an MC challenge because it's scam. Those days, I was running after them, but today, you have to come. Yes. So yes, we can start from nothing and so and
so we'll take our last question from Chris Ivan. Good evening. Okay, so my question is to the lady. Okay. I know her very well. So, two questions. The first one is that you being a lady, coming to events and other things as well. I meet, should I use big people, like, the CEOs and all those things. You meet them in as much as you brand yourself in a way that you don't want them to feel sexually attracted to you. You just want business. You meet them and it's the other way around. They make the whole thing. You can do the best presentation ever, but all they see is the sexual aspect. So I want to know, you being a lady and then, you had to separate yourself, join, do presentations, convince them to come on board and all those things. How were you able to go through? So, in as much as the first time I met Mr. Atuahene, it was all about business, encouraging. That was when I got to realize that he's into motivations and all those things. He would talk and talk and talk. The truth is, the first one was like, I'm not going to say, my mind was very hot, so I wanted to know what he was going to do it or not. And I told him that I've gone to one man before, and then the man told me that I should do this, that, and all those things. So I was trying to share my experience with him. So I want to know, how were you able to, overcome all these things, in as much as you can brand yourself, do, all the things that will just take their mind off you, but it doesn't work. And then the second aspect is, I recently watched your interview with Nana Pesekunse. And he said that you could have gone to Accra and then establish yourself there, but you chose Accra. I think I have the same thing with you. And then when you were sharing your story, I felt like, the bigger Eva. Yeah.
So we're selling things and then making sure that you get the things that you want, getting to where you want. In as much, my mother wanted me to become a teacher. That is when you have a better, I can't teach kids and all those things. So I had to take up on my own education in the university and all that. So I want to know, Western region, what possible compared partnership or even selling your idea to someone and team? It looks like everybody wants to push you down. They don't want to see you there. Though some people want to see you there, but most of the people, the things that they do makes it look like I don't want to see you there. Like maybe how are you able to, get that idea that I want to stay in Western region, excel? That's what I want to do. Like I said, if you go to Accra, you present your proposals and all those things, people that will accept it, give you the money you need, organize your events, do everything that you want. But somebody, if someone will tell you that, most times, like I said, there are opportunities here in your better forget. It's to whom you know. And it's everywhere, but Accra is a bit flexible than here. It's to whom you know. So people actually say, somebody, where obeys, and just forget anything. But recently there was a woman in Accra, actually said, she come and establish, I have a salon as well. Me come there establishing a salon for my events and all those things. But I still stood on my ground and said, no, I still want to be in Western region because I know that I will excel here. So I want you to give me the answer for this thing.
Thank you. Okay, so I'll start with the Takadi thing. Saying in IFR, that's the first question, because Accra or a collection of a lot of people from a lot of cities, and competition is so high that everybody needs to make it in whatever way. We can do it here as well. And I don't like it when people try to compare Takadi to Accra. Takadi, capital of the country, or better, bigger and better than all the other countries, regions or cities. So I don't see why people will try to compare Accra to Takadi. Like somewhere in Nigeria, for you are comparing Enugu to Lagos. Lagos is so hot. Ghana food go hot, Ivorians go hot, everywhere. We shouldn't try to compare Accra to Takadi. Accra is the hub of the whole country with companies. No, yeah, but airports, all the head offices in the headquarters of all ministries, how can it be that I have a better than a home? But it's trying to make it happen. I have lots of friends who go to Chapel Hill and Fujai. One in our go to Accra. But if so for people living here to Accra, for me, I'm not for it. Yet now baby. We not depend on that is one. And then two, with this kind of people harassing and chasing you, it will never end. It will never end. Sometimes I put on rings to do everything. I'm not ringing the worship. You can present everything. Oh, you've done well. Oh, when you step outside, because you're giving your cards out, and people are, can we have dinner? Dinner is not a problem. We can talk over dinner, but the perception they have behind the dinner is the problem. I always try to cut people off in things like having dinners and sitting around with them, because that cultivates in some pursuing. If you want us to talk about business, you can send an email, you can call me, we can talk, and then that ends it. I have 2 kids, and I don't see the reason why I should be running around with people. When I make us a meeting, the moment you speak with one person, you end up speaking with everybody, and I say you're working, no one can be invited to anyone. So I am very, very particular about people that I make, I take them as friends. I take grown-ups as friends, but I don't take any grown-up I take people who gives advice, who tells me good things. Do it this way. This is what is going to happen. I go for presentations every time at Petroleum Commission, Ghana Gas, GNPC, and all these people, they are very good, rich. I mean, we are not going to make small cars, not going to Land Cruisers, this. And you know, people are expecting that, or still to Land Cruiser. I don't like to compete. In my own small way, and I have what I like or love. I don't want to be like somebody. It will happen, but you need to tell them, let them know their limits in your life. I mean, you probably bring and another person will tell you about how I really suffer. You probably and then the next thing, the other time I was just talking it over with you, my presentation, massage, 200 cities, my como will be looking at massage, and at the end of the day, what will happen? I hear no you are the normal, and our car is not an asset. Oh, in fact, one why is scraps. And I don't want young making for who are scraps. And the only thing I like, in America, they're very independent. But I don't get a car. Now, if you are also calm, or car, or from one to person, or to car because I was specky. I mean, my car was specky. It's not like that. So you definitely have enemies after presentations because whatever you presented is not what they were listening to. I don't know what they were just thinking of, something different. You would have to make sure you let them know your limits. Your limit is that I came to present and I'm done. That's the way you give the respect more than, and I've been respected in a whole lot of ways. People do respect me a lot because of that. Because looking at my figure, my stature, my beauty, for me I know I'm pretty because I have a mirror in my house. I don't look at those things and then use them, you know. I'm very strict in whatever I do, and I have limitations in friendship. You should not ever put too much from an interview. Because you don't give life, you don't give blood. I don't know what you give me or say them by force, no. Contracts are there, but actually we hope you. And in Ghana, the positions are 4 years. Yes. So after 4 years you're gone. And 4 years you are then the next 4 years I'll have to, and it continues like that. So you should have a limit. You will definitely go through those things, but let them know your limits because they will respect you for that. Thank you.
Okay, so we'll receive a short presentation from Mr. Frank Nanaya Okunedu. He's the CEO of NK Mass Cabinet. He has his cabinet here, so you show it to us.
Okay, I decided to bring Nanaya in because, you know, in this world, I always say that being an entrepreneur, you always have to look around for problems within the society. And in finding the problems within the society, you get a response to it. So getting a response to problems within the society, it gives you a breakthrough. We all know that for some years now in our schools, we've been using chalkboards. And the chalkboard system in our school is in such a way that it doesn't give you the opportunity to separate your items, let's say your food items from your soap and those stuff. But Nanaya, as a guy that I've been talking to most of the time, Frank, he told me about an idea that came in mind. I was like, wow, this is a very cool idea. So I told that anytime you finish with what exactly you are talking about, bring it for me to see. So I was there one day and he brought one to my office and I was like, wow, this is what we are looking for. You talk about something, though he doesn't have the funds to produce them, in large quantity, but at least getting the first one done is beautiful. You have the concept, and definitely we know that some years to come we hear his name, BBC. So I decided to use the platform to come and showcase. So let's give it out for Nanaya.
Thank you, Mr. Frank. My name is Frank. As Mr. Atuahene said earlier, we're planning on how blend it more. I'll blend it in the fancy. When I came, actually, I came late because I was working on it at the workshop. One of my brothers asked something that how will you start small? Or how will you start small? Something like that. Yesterday I was talking with Mr. Atuahene concerning this. You see, one day I was going to work, then I don't know what happened. I was listening to the 2TV. There's one pastor, I've forgotten the name. He was saying that the easiest way to make money and be rich is just to identify a problem, then solve it. I said, then what would be that problem to identify to solve? I said, okay. I was going to, I was just thinking. It's like someone was talking to me. Just do something to serve the people of drunk and trouble. I said, okay. But first of all, there's one trick. Anytime you get an idea, sometimes it will fall in the hands of the people who cannot help you. And if you don't take care, they will just help you clear that mindset or that vision. Because I got myself at one carpentry shop and the man nearly convinced me to forget about this. Because we went to Kokumpi, we bought some wood that is different from this. And God being so good, He was tossing me here and there, so I decided to move to a different place. And I went to the man, I spoke to him about what I have, and he added value to it. So here is it. The trunk and chokebox that we have, old system, we have been using since the trunk and chokebox. When you go to school, trunk and chokebox. This is NK mass cabinet. NK mass cabinet. It's been registered. So it has 3 compartments. This is the bigger one, the larger aspect. This space is very huge, big. This will contain your foodstuffs because you may have carried a lot of foodstuffs and stuff. So this will contain your foodstuffs. And the door or the cover is 2 because if your garage and shelter and stuff is here, then you have your clothes or your white stuff here. If you are taking that, if I decide to make the cover 2, then you have to open one. Definitely when I'm taking garage or shelter, the shooter or anything can just, you get what I'm saying? It makes me have to go on tire white inside. So I have to make the cover 2 so that the food aspect will have its own cover. And when you keep your clothes, you have its own cover. Then the drawer aspect is to separate the food from the detergent. So that's the perception. Now, there's one space here. That space, I decided to create a space with photo because it's no photo. There's one. Good. If you come closer, you see there's one space here. Here is where you can keep your money or something that's very important. This drawer, no one can open this drawer. Even an arm robber can open this drawer. Unless I teach you how to open this drawer. So when you close it like this, then this is on it and you lock it. No one will even have that idea that there's something here. So you hide something that is very important. You hide it. So you have 3 compartments and one where you can secret yourself, where you can hide something. So I designed this. In fact, I'm not a carpenter. I don't know anything about carpentry work. I was a science student at secondary college. So when I got the idea, I decided to not carpentry. I decided to go to one of the carpentry shops And in fact, I have no idea of it. I don't have the money to start and everything. So the little resources I got, I try to buy the wood to start with it. So when they are doing it, I'll be helping them. So I'll be learning it small. And in fact, although I study science at the secondary level, but I'm offering medicine and supplies TTU. So it means that the science, that procedures and stuff that we are learning, it won't bring anything. And they are like, how? How is that you are a science student and you are not offering those engineers and stuff? No matter. If you want to make money, that's when it won't send me anywhere. Yes, because Mr. Atuahene is a businessman. And I can't go and like always, I don't know why Ghanaians like office jobs and stuff. They will be paid them 2,000, 1,000, they are okay with it. You are just managing poverty. You are not ready to cure it. Oh, Mr. Atuahene is in the process of curing poverty. But he pays you. Or Mr. Atuahene, if you are paying 2,000, 1,500, 2,000, 1,500, then you are just managing poverty. Are you ready to cure poverty? Yes. That's how I see it. So I'm not. So that's why we created this and came back out there. And as it is now, I'm not yet done. I'll add more to it. It will come with the 3D, the 3D designs. It has this one, a wheel and light, which makes it very easy to move. And the wheel, you can lock it.
Okay.
When you lock the wheels, it will move.
That's it. Our time is up, but someone wants to ask you a question. So it will be 30 seconds. You also use 30 or 1 minute to answer for us, and then we can wrap up.
Thank you. So Nayo, I want to ask, have you considered or putting this into consideration that in some of our second institutions, you have your trunk room separate from the chop-box room? Have you put this into consideration? When you send this to school, and then you have the trunk room separated from the chop-box room, how is the student going to manage this?
Yes, I got this question. And you know, the reason why you have the trunk room separate from the children's room is to keep both of them at the dormitory. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, to be two men. They'll keep the both two. Everyone is having trunk trouble. That's why they decided to separate it. Now, this one it comes everything one. Right? So you can send it home, bring it back. And it's not heavy. So you sending home and bringing it back is not even. This one is beside your bed. And in fact, when I got the idea after creating this one producing the sample, I got to realize that it's not only SHS or for the secondary level. You can even buy it for your and even your various offices everywhere. You can use it.
Once this one is in, they can even eliminate the trunk and chop.
Okay. All right, then. Everyone, you. Thank you so much. Our time is up.
Please, I want to ask if you have any idea on the size, but when you're transporting it from one place to another, the vehicle that you transport it, if it is going to be a bit longer, so that the size wouldn't be too big for transportation. So I think you have to do that.
Yes, as for the selling cost, but the one funny thing about it is there are some trunks, chop-box that has this size like almost like this. Yes.
So you note it down, eh?
Yeah, exactly.
Note it down. So you can even make different sizes. Someone will choose to have the bigger one, someone will choose to have the smaller one, and it will, be determined.
It's been a good
price.
If anyone needs one of these products, because definitely we all give light and your children will get definitely. We just, even if you don't have money, Mr. Atuahene with my father, and when you ask me, I will.
But you can give your number out shortly.
Okay, my contact is 0550
0550
6380
6380
15
15
or 059
No. Repeat your number again.
0550
0550
6380
Say what? 6380
Yes, 15.
15.
Or 0. Okay.
Thank you very much. So we call it a wrap. I'm sure that we came in here, we've been told how to start. Nanaya has told us about perseverance, not giving up, and starting with nothing. Going for the water, anything. It doesn't mean go for ice water. But I always tell people you can sell anything and make it great. Because I think when you sell ice water, you make more than half of the amount. Because it's basically you can sell and get 6 or 7 cents.
Just as you are selling bread.
I'm a man of many things, really. Okay, so
It's very nice.
So
He's some nice favorite bread.
So we told that we need to persevere and to never give up. Atuahene has told us that one thing that's important in business is that you have to build your credibility so that people can trust you to give you something to, So if you're going for the water, you need to be trusted that you bring back the money. So you have to work at it. Doc has told us that the greener pastures are not only in abroad, some here as well. So we need to work at it. And we've also learned that we can become successful when we find solutions to problems, and we need to volunteer. And Nanaya told us something. When you're working for Atuahene, Nanaya or Doc, you have to work well so that tomorrow someone will also work for you well. I think it's been a very educative and impacting evening here. This has been the empowerment session put together by Atuahene Foundation. It's been a personal development and entrepreneurship conference. Today, we looked at the hard questions. Have you been served properly?
Yes.
Have you?
Yes.
Will you come again the next time we meet?
Yes.
It's 2 weeks from now. I'm sure we'll meet with you. All right, thank you so much. But before we go, we'll take a vote of thanks. And this one, I'm surprising someone. Mrs. Atuahene will do this for us. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome the wife, the beautiful wife of our CEO. By the way, she's my eminence. So if you have been ready. Oh, midwife. What about you?
Good evening, everyone. I'm honored, baby, to be the vote of thanks. My thank goes to the Almighty God for bringing us this far. My other thanks also goes to my husband. Hey. And the other guests. We also thank everyone for gracing this occasion. Thank you very much.
Maybe next time we'll have to look at choosing a partner.
Oh yeah.
But one thing my boss tells me is that you can go far depending on the partner you choose. But you have to explore that subject as well. To look at the roles we play in our lives, so that those of us who are yet to, please, I have come already. Look at my ring. It fell off my head like this. If my child saw it, my young girl asked me, Daddy, where's your ring? I said, I can't find it. Oh, you see, it fell in the bathroom. I said, where is it? I gave it to mommy. So that's it. Thank you so much. We'll have to call one of you to pass the closing prayer. So we can, okay, look. My colleague is here. He's called Ketchu. We just brought him. We bought him from somewhere. Radio business is about buying players. So we bought the best player from one region and brought him here. So let's get you into the closing prayer. So this is my co-host on the Jolly Breakfast Show on Sky Power 93.5. Get you the closing prayers.
Champion of people. Heavenly Father, we